What's up everybody, I'm Tim from Tim Bridge Gifts. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to take a boring old pillar candle and give it this nice polka dot effect. It's a real easy way to bring new life to your candles. And to be honest with you, any chance I get to bring power tools into my candle shop, I'm going to take it. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on. I'll show you the supplies you're going to need to do this. Okay, so to cover our supplies, we're going to start off with just making a basic pillar candle like we normally would. So you're going to use your whatever pillar candle mold that you have. Our wax, for this we're using a Kentucky 143 paraffin pillar wax from Rustic Essentials. An appropriate size wick. And whatever kind of candle dye you're going to use. For this one we're going to make it black and white, mainly because my wife said she wanted a black and white one. You can use whatever colors you want. Main thing is just make sure you pick two colors that are going to contrast each other really well. So we're going to use all of that to make our basic pillar candle. Now once that's done, comes the most important part. You're going to need an electric drill, and you're going to need a good set of these. These are called paddle bits. Some people call them spade bits. You're going to need these rather than just normal drill bits, just because of the size difference. Okay, that's really all we need. So let's go ahead and make our pillar and get started. All right, so we've got our pillar made. We're going to go ahead and unmold it. Initially, we're going to make it without the wick. We're going to add that in a later step. So all we're going to do at this point, we're basically going to hollow it out. We're going to create a channel down the middle. It'll make sense later. So we're going to take our paddle bit, and we're just going to drill straight down the middle. And we're going to try to go all the way through, so it's basically just a hollow tube. It's best to go ahead and have something handy to collect all the wax. This is going to get kind of messy. There's going to be little wax flakes flying everywhere. So to keep that on the mesh, you're going to want to get some type of container to collect that. Not to mention we can collect it and use it later for different projects. So we're just going to line it up about as center as we can get it. And we're just going to drill down. You're going to want to go kind of slow. You don't want to go too fast and end up having this fly out of your hand. So just start off real slow. As you can see, it's getting kind of messy. Okay, we're going to end up with something like that. There you go. So now that we've got that channel drilled through the middle, now we can take our different size paddle bits. We can drill our design holes through the side. You can use kind of whatever pattern you want. We're just going to go kind of random on this one. So we're just going to take the different size paddle bits. And just real slow, we're just going to drill our random holes throughout the sides of it. You can buy the paddle bit set. It comes with a lot of different sizes. So we're going to use each of those sizes just to make different size holes in the candle. Kind of give ourselves a unique little pattern. Okay, so when we're finished, it's going to look something like this. A real no distinct pattern. You can make whatever pattern you want. For this one, we just went kind of random. Just going to end up with a hollow pillar candle that kind of looks like Swiss cheese. Okay, so we're going to set this aside for now, clean up our mess, move on to the next step. Okay, so now that we've got our pillar candle drilled the way we want it, we're going to clean it up a little bit. You know, there's going to be a little bit of trash on the outside from where you drilled it. You're not going to be able to get all that off, but mainly you want to try your best to get the big chunks out. Okay, so we've got that pretty clean. Now it's just going to go right back in the original mold that it came from. Just going to put it back in there just the way it came out. We're going to go ahead and set our wick. For this size mold, this is a 3-inch mold. I'm using an Eco 10 from Lone Star. You can use a spool wick. I like to just take a pre-tab, just cut the tab off. It works just fine. So we're just going to go ahead and thread that through. Okay. This is one of the reasons that we drilled all the way through. If you hadn't and just tried to wick it like this, it would be impossible to feed the wick all the way through the mold and the candle. Okay. So we've got that lined up. We're going to go ahead and seal the bottom with mold putty. Go ahead and take our wick bar and get it centered and up straight. Okay, that's pretty much ready to go. What we're going to do now is we're going to take our heat gun. We're going to blast the outside just a little bit, not enough to melt it down too much, just enough to kind of reseal it to the mold so you don't get any leakage on the outside, and to kind of clean up all that extra trash on the outside that we couldn't get cleaned off. Not a lot of heat at all, just enough to kind of warm it up a little bit. Okay, now that's resealed to the mold. We don't have to worry about the next batch of wax we're going to pour seeping out the holes that we drilled. Okay. So now we're just going to let that cool for just a second. Now we're ready to pour our next color. Okay, so we've got our next color melted down. Now we're just going to pour it just like we would any other type of pillar candle. Temperature is going to be a little bit different on this. The initial pour was about 190 because we don't want to melt this too much and have the colors mixed together. We're going to pour this at about 160. We're just going to do a nice, slow, steady pour just to make sure it has time to fill those holes up. We don't get too many air bubbles trapped. Okay, we're going to save a little bit for a re-pour in case there's any type of shrinkage. I haven't been given any measurements on these just because everybody's going to be using different size pillar molds. The amount of holes you drill are going to affect the amount that you're going to use for your second pour. So you are going to have a little bit of waste with this type of project, but we can just collect that, save it for later, use it on a different project. It's not a big deal. So we're just going to let this cool. Once it cools, we can unmold it and check out what we got. Okay, so we're back. This has had plenty of time to dry. So let's go and pull it out and see how we did. There you go. Nice, gorgeous, polka dotted pillar candle. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you happen to make any of these, take a picture of them, show me in the comments, or email me. I'd love to post them on my Instagram. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching, y'all.